How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of So Recently. I'm Matt, and I'm here with Miranda again.
Hello.
And it's been a while, I think, Miranda, since we've done one of these.
Matt, I could tell you right now, it's been like at least a month.
I think a month is maybe an understatement.
2 months? 3?
Yeah.
What month are we in now?
We're in December. We're in the winter.
I think it's been 3 months, because I think did we record in September?
We recorded right around the start of October, I think. So
Okay.
it's been some time. And so a lot of our So Recently topics that we've mulled over doing have come and gone.
They're no longer recent.
They're no longer recent, and we've thought we would kind of kick ahead a bit because, that's the smooth operation we're running here. So
Yep.
I think there's 3 months that are missing, and we'll have to maybe review some of that at some point. But
Yeah, we'll get back to it.
yeah, maybe it was mainly just work, I think.
It
for
was,
both of
it
us.
was, I was going to say, it was mostly work. Like,
Yeah, what a bummer.
I
Yeah,
know.
fall is miserable for me, as you know.
Yeah.
But now that we're in the winter times and we've had some more time to hang out, we recently did something.
Yes.
So recently we did something, I should say.
Yeah, recently.
Do you want to say what we did?
Sure.
Because it was both of us. It was both of us. It wasn't just one of us this time.
Correct. We actually got to hang out in person.
Yes.
Which is also really rare during the fall because you're so busy. So it was awesome.
Yes.
But it was also with our friend Brian, who we've mentioned on the pod, and our friend Nick, who I believe we've mentioned on the pod probably.
Oh yeah, he's come up, I think.
But we all played D&D together. Our very first one-shot campaign as a group. I don't know, Matt, was that your first time playing D&D?
Yes. So
Okay.
I have played similar role-playing style games once or twice in college, but it wasn't like a D&D game, and honestly it was kind of riffing off of a friend's game that he had made back in high school for a school project. It was more of a joke that we were playing it than actually playing a D&D campaign.
Gotcha.
Or one shot, which is what we did. We just did the one shot this time. So
Yeah,
it's kind
yeah,
of a one
and-
and done.
I mean, we played for like 5 hours, but it was a lot of fun. And my fiance James was the DM, and
Yes.
I think he had so much fun planning this. He had actually been talking about it for a long time, and
Yeah, and we tried to schedule it for a while too. It took probably like a month, which I think is, from what I understand, talking to people who play a lot of D&D is usually the problem. It's actually scheduling the time to play.
well, it's hard because we're all we all have jobs, and then Brian went and had kids, so he
Yeah.
has that extra layer
Yeah.
of scheduling wise. So it was difficult to get everybody in one spot for an entire day.
Yes.
But it was fun. I had a lot of fun with it, and I'd love to play more. But yeah, do you want me to kind of go into what the story was?
Yeah, sure. Well, I can. Yeah, so we did a one shot. So for those of you who listened to our previous D&D podcast and now experts on D&D,
Of course.
it's kind of a one and done. So we didn't do a campaign necessarily. It was more of we sat down for one evening and we made characters. There was a story we followed, and we wrapped everything up at the end.
Yep.
Potentially for in the future we could bring back these characters, I think, maybe.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But either way, the campaign itself that James had prepared was one evening. So
Yes.
yeah, if you want to talk a little bit about it, because to be honest, it's kind of a group thing that almost everybody was more familiar with than me, but I had recently become familiarized with it. So
I mean, same for James, actually. So,
Yeah.
backing up a little bit, this past summer, we were having a bonfire at Brian's, and I think Nick. So, okay. Listeners, I would love to know if anybody here knows of the song The Dweller in the Cave. You might have sang that in elementary school choir. That's where me and Nick and Brian had sang it.
yeah, and I also went to elementary school with Nick for 1 year in first grade, and then I moved to a different part of the city, so I had a different elementary school. So I escaped almost all of this.
Yeah, you missed out, man. It was great.
Yeah, and I'd heard you guys say it. I've heard you guys say and kind of sing part of it for years, and I never really knew what it was.
So, at this bonfire, right, Nick says Dweller in the Cave, and Brian and I, without even missing a beat, just start singing the song. And on the way home, James was like, Dweller in the Cave sounds like a really good, D&D campaign. And so he just took that and ran with it. It was so hard for me not to tell you guys because he was like, I want them to be surprised. But
Yeah.
he started dropping clues in the campaign, and I was like, they're gonna get it.
Well, what's funny is So, because we'd listened to the song, I think too. I ended up looking it up when we
Yes.
were at the bonfire, and I like played a bit of it. So we heard part of it, and it's a really creepy, like weird chanty song for
Especially for
kids to be
small
singing.
children. Yeah,
If
small
little
children to be
kids are
singing.
singing it, yeah, and it's a cool song. It's fun. It's definitely. I think you all had said like it was a favorite of yours when you were kids to be able
Yes.
to sing it.
Look, it was just the fun. It was
It's like
like
a
the
special
teacher.
treat.
It was. The teacher would turn off the lights. And it was like kind of creepy. It was like, and it wasn't a normal song we would sing like in a concert or anything. So it was just
Hmm.
like, I don't know. I think we all liked that the lights got turned out and we were like, ooh, it's spooky. But yeah, thinking about it, I'm like, man, that's just weird that we.
It's a fun one though. It's a fun creepy song, and because I think it came up maybe because I was talking about with Nick a while back, or he referenced it, and I had just learned about it, and then it
Oh,
came up
okay.
again at the bonfire. What's funny is you mentioned that he kind of seeded clues, and so the whole gist of his one shot campaign was it was based around the Dweller of the Cave song. And I will say, as someone who has never grew up with the song, I was oblivious to a lot of the the clues because I only know the main hook, which is where you all sing Dweller of the Cave
Yep.
in like a cool melody.
Yep.
But there was like basically we looked it up at the end and like all the stuff he had put into the campaign was related to different lines.
Well, so Nick had said Dweller of the Cave a couple times throughout, but it was like kind of laughing about it. And every time he said it, I would glance at James and he would just kind of smile. And then when the reveal at the end with the boss, the Dweller
Which
emerges,
was the Dweller. Yeah.
you guys freaked out. And it was so funny. Like,
It was awesome. Yeah, so it was pretty cool. I think the themed campaign based on something that everybody was into made it a lot more fun.
yeah.
And James did a really good job with it. I think Nick was saying at one point during like a break we broke for pizza, and he said he had like asked James where he found the campaign online or whatever, and he was like, "Oh no, I made this campaign." And Nick was like, "Oh dang, like it's really impressive that he just made this whole thing." So he did a really good job, and I'm not just saying that because there's a chance that James will listen. I think it was really fun, and I told him such too. I said it was good, but yeah, it was really fun, and I think the rest of it was like a lot of us learning how to operate the functions of D&D, which
Yes.
is interesting because I knew that there was complexity to it, but I don't think I really realized how complex it would get.
I definitely didn't.
I think like Nick and Brian have played before to some level, so they knew a little bit, but you didn't know either.
No, because so the last time I played at all was also a one shot, which only lasted like 2 hours with James's friends, and they gave me a pre-made character, and I was just like, what do I do? And they're like, oh, what do you want to do? And they tried to walk me through it, but I was not, and like I don't know. So I mostly just did what people told me. I would just say I'm gonna go open the door, and they said, okay, roll for this, and so I would roll. And then I would let them do the math for me because I didn't understand it. But this time, and I think at that point too, I was a rogue, so it was like a completely different character.
Yeah.
This time I played a druid, which was super fun actually. But I guess each character is different, and how you set up your character, and it was like. I will say it probably took an entire evening for me to create my character.
Yeah, I kind of pushed mine off, and you had said it took you quite a while.
It did. Well, I can't make decisions, so
Yeah, and that's where I was
my
running into issues too.
thing. It took me
Yeah.
forever to decide if I wanted to be a druid,
Right.
but I was like, I feel like everyone would expect me to be a rogue because I like being sneaky and stabby. But then James was like, you could turn into a velociraptor if you're a druid, and I was like, sold.
Yeah,
I didn't in the campaign, but that's fine.
yeah, you mainly turned into a bear, which
Yeah.
was kind of your go-to move, which I appreciated. Yeah, I picked cleric, and part of it was because I just needed to pick something. I had spent a long time kind of mulling over my options, and then you picked druid, and then I think Nick picked barbarian.
Yep.
And I saw that Brian had picked a rogue. So for me at that point, I was kind of like, well, I want to be like a spellcastery sort of person, but I don't want to just be a spellcaster. So I decided to go with like the cleric, which I think looking back on now that I know how complicated it would be, I probably wouldn't have picked that for my first one, just because there was like all these different slots and spells and features, which was confusing to me that there's different spells and there's different features and they're in two different menus, which is also a little confusing, I think, for a new player, but that was something we worked through.
I mean, it's also like difficult because if you choose a different species, you might get more feats versus less feats versus. So it's like you pick your class that has its own thing, and then you pick your species, and that can open a whole other can of worms. You're like, oh my god, there was just too many options at points where I was like, James, you choose for me. Like,
Yeah.
I can't anymore.
Yeah, it was like I think the day before we did it, I'd committed to a cleric, but I hadn't committed to anything else, and so I like woke up a little earlier than I normally do, and I just like sat down at my computer and like went on to D&D Beyond and just like poked around everything and looked into stuff and looked out, like bopped out of decisions and went back into decisions, and then like, you know, kind of was just like spending a lot of time in it, partly due to like the role playing element. I wanted to make like a fun character to role play, but then what's actually kind of funny is I think in the one shot, like the role playing element was like there, but also like pretty light, I think, overall with all of us. And maybe that was just because that's a one shot, but
yeah, I would love to do more with these characters, because like if we can get into our characters, because I think you, me, and Nick definitely had fun with it. Brian did not.
Yeah. Oh, well, yeah, because we unfortunately, poor Brian, whenever we're in a big group, it is kind of a gang up on Brian.
He makes it so easy, though.
Or at least pick on Brian sort of game.
Well, okay, hold on. Here's the thing. Brian, if you're listening to this, it's because you make it too easy.
He does. And also, Brian was the main cause of the majority of the problems our group ran into in our campaign, because Brian's character was a thief, essentially, who was in it for himself and in it for money.
Yeah, he was not a very good team player, I will say that.
Yeah, so he definitely tried to steal or loot several times, which caused conflicts or fights to happen.
A copy of himself shot me.
Yeah, there was like a mimic, or not a mimic, I shouldn't say, because obviously that's a thing in D&D, but like a clone or like a shadowy version of himself that had to fight us. And so, yeah, I mean, he caused some of the problems, but he also did, I think we all like contributed in the fights, which was fun.
Except for the last one.
Well, the last one we had to change things up a little bit because Brian was called away partway through, which was fine because we had already kind of done the gist of the campaign. It was just the final boss, which I think we were on the track to beating it by the time he had to go. But yeah, it was really fun. I thought just the overall like going through the maps, having the different decision points, and like all the different things that we had to figure out as a group was really funny. It was like very funny. So it was a really good time. Did you have any like thoughts as someone, because you said you played it briefly before, but like on kind of like a sort of second, sort of first playthrough?
So yeah, I had played the one time with like a bunch of Jamie's friends who play D&D all the time. So I felt a little intimidated because
that time more.
Yeah, because one, they're not my friends, and I had met them before, but it's not like we hang out all the time, and then when we do, we don't play D&D.
There's not really a rapport.
No,
in the same way that like you are gonna have with like your friends from high school or like younger in our case.
Like you guys, like, yeah, I even told James, I was like, I feel like I'm gonna like it because I'm gonna be able to bounce off of, you know, our humor. Like, yeah, I mean, I've known you guys forever, like Brian since kindergarten, you and Nick since elementary school, essentially, like everyone since elementary school. So, you know, we've grown up and we kind of get each other's humor. So it's easier to kind of bounce off each other.
It's easier to make jokes in that context too, I think, when it's like, well, yeah, like I know this will land with my group. So it does make it really fun to just like goof around and stuff.
It definitely makes it a lot more fun to goof around, because when I played it the first time, I didn't feel like I wanted to goof around because I couldn't tell if they were taking it seriously or if they wanted to just joke and have fun.
Totally.
Like I couldn't tell because they always play and I just couldn't read them yet. So I mostly was just like really hesitant my first time, didn't know what I want to do, and you know, it's kind of like, is this right? Do I just say I'm gonna go do that? And this time I was like, I turned into a bear and I bitch slapped the shit out of that wolf coming at me. Like I felt more confident. Yeah. But, you know, it could be because I was with you guys and I was like, okay, we'll see what happens. And
Yeah.
Knowing that none of us are, like Brian's played probably the most out of both
Well,
all of us.
I think Nick has actually played more, potentially.
Has he?
But he's always
Okay.
played like homebrewed versions of the rules and stuff. So like
Gotcha.
he's done, because I think there was like a couple years where he was playing D&D regularly on Sundays, like every Sunday for like
Nice.
2-3 years straight. So
Oh wow.
So, but never.
I did not know he was playing that regularly.
Yeah, never in person, I don't think. And I think Brian had played the most recently, probably. So like he was the most
okay.
he seemed the most familiar with like D&D Beyond and some of the different, like he seemed like he understood the process a lot more coming in. Whereas I think both you and I were like, what? I don't know. But yeah, I think we also pretty quickly identified that it wasn't going to be taken too seriously, because the first like 4 skill checks were all related to things picking on Brian, essentially.
Yeah.
Which was really fun.
Brian tried to be cool and Brian rolls badly and we go, wow.
Yeah. I thought that was fun too, that James like was receptive to that pretty quickly, and yeah, I had a lot of fun with that.
I told James the day before, I was like, this will turn into a pick on Brian because we're all together. Brian's going to say something or do something stupid and we're all going to attack him. And James was like, no, it'll be fine. I'm like, no, you don't understand.
Yeah, it will be fine.
5 minutes into the session, Brian does something and we all go, Brian!
It will be fine, but that will be the outcome for sure. So
Look, Brian, you're one of my best friends. You're going to be one of my best men, but you deserve it.
Yeah, you know what's coming, Brian, and typically you set it up.
Yep,
But yeah, no, I had a lot of fun with it. I think going forward, I would like to do it again. I think in the future with D&D, what I would like to do is, and now that I know what I'm maybe expected to do, is have a better understanding of what I'm actually doing on D&D Beyond, because I was a little confused with some of the character setup stuff, and I think maybe poke around in it a little bit afterwards, just so I have a better awareness of like, oh, I have this spell, I have this, because part of that was I did set up some of that, but without knowing like what a typical game looked like, it was really hard for me to understand like what I should be grabbing and what I shouldn't be grabbing.
Yep.
So that would be something I would like to do differently. I also think like I would love to try and do more of the role play, but it's really hard. I kind of pigeonholed myself, no pun intended, because I did pick a bird person. It's like an Aarakocra, which is apparently like not even like an official character or species, but it's like something that some person had added, and it's like a popular enough option that it is a feature in D&D Beyond that you can pick a Birdman. So I played a Birdman, which is really fun.
Yep.
But I don't know if I'd pick a Birdman again. At the same time, it was hilarious. So
I mean, it was pretty funny, especially when you were like, "Can I fly?" And James was like, "Yeah,
you're allowed to do that." I mean,
you're allowed to do
I was
that.
sort of just hoping that he wasn't going to say like, please don't, because I don't know what the parameters of his game were, and I didn't want to be like, I'm gonna fly up and then just like have like instant visual of something I needed to see, right? So
yeah, no, I think he balanced it pretty well with our shenanigans. Do you want to break down your character? What was your character's name?
Oh yeah, so how did I do it? It was Unosh, and then in parentheses or in quotations, Zabur. D righteous, which is kind of a really long, convoluted way of me making a reference to a old scene from an old Kanye West music video where someone tells Kanye, "You know she's a bird, right?" And so if you read my character's name in the proper way, it got to Unosh Zabur D right? Which was some really stupid joke I thought of at like 10 in the morning. And to be fair, it did get a laugh. It was really dumb, but
so good.
But yeah, I had to work for that one. So I would like to do something similar with a future character name to make something stupid, because I think we all picked, well, hilariously, we all picked dumb names except Brian.
Yeah.
Because that was my character's name, and I was a bird cleric, and I worshipped the nature gods, although the Aarakocra apparently do not really have any affiliation with religion or deities. So I was kind of,
you were
a little off script, but yeah, I was all over the place. And then I ended up, I mean, like, we ended up kind of going in and out of character quite a lot. So it wasn't like I was like really committed to the bit. But I
No.
would like to try that for a future character. And what was your character?
My name was Jacqueline
Yep.
Daniels, or Jackie Daniels. I was a human. No, variant human? Is that what it
I
is?
think maybe.
I don't know. Not the regular human, the other human. Druid. And I was like a moon powered one. So I was a moonshiner, is what I was
Yeah,
going with.
that's awesome.
And my whole character was I'm a bootlegger, I'm a moonshiner. I liked how you and I, like, because as a one shot and we all kind of know each other in the story,
Yep.
we spent the first like 10 minutes talking about like how we know each other. And like you and I are besties because you saw me drinking some moonshine in the trees.
I was flying around and saw you.
I was a squirrel drinking my stash.
Yes.
And so I don't know. I like doing that, and like Nick's character was really fun. But I will say I enjoyed playing Druid, and I would like to do more of the role playing as Jackie.
Okay.
And I don't know. I think it'd be fun to do more of these characters.
Yeah.
Even if you change it up a little bit. But I'll probably keep my character for a little bit if we play anytime soon. But if we don't play for a while, who knows? Maybe I'll decide to change it.
I think what I would maybe want to do is change my class because I
Okay.
felt like cleric was fun, but I didn't totally understand what I was doing. And as much as there's some cool spells and options, I think I would want to be a character that gets into the fight a little bit quicker. So
Yeah.
that would be probably my change, would be like a fighter or like a ranger or something like that. It also seems to fit well with like a bird, like just more hand-to-hand combat, like flying around and stabbing people. I think that sounded cool, but I'd already committed. So like part of it was I had already committed to a cleric, and one of the things that Miranda did that's very nice, listeners, is she made dice for everybody.
Yeah.
Because I think we've talked about resin before on this podcast, but you do resin work.
It's been a while.
been
Yes, it's been a
months,
while.
but yeah, you do resin work, and so you made some dice for everybody that we all used during the game, which was super fun. Mine were like gold and like kind of speckled and very holy looking, which I think was fun. So I was like kind of committed to the bit after I'd said I'd be cleric, and so I just stuck with it. But I would maybe switch to something else in the future. It just depends on if I could get a better handle on my character sheet. I think really.
Hey, you know what? I'll say that I was lucky because I had James with me to help me go through all of it. So I don't know what I would have done if I didn't have him next to me.
Yeah, we use the app too because the character sheets weren't like super clear how they printed out, and mine didn't print out clearly at all.
And I don't have a printer. So.
Yeah, I think next time I have an iPad, and I think what I might do is next time I might just bring my iPad and just have it sit at my
Smart.
table, and I can take all my notes on there and then use the app because I feel like
Smart.
that's like what they do in the fancy shows where they play at a table or they all have
Yeah.
their laptops open and
They all have screens.
yeah, and so I would love to do that. We talked about D&D with James maybe a year ago now, but like I know a lot of people who play D&D pretty regularly, or at least who have at times, and so I think it'd be fun to do it. Maybe not on a weekly basis like a lot of them do. I have a coworker who plays 3 times a week, which is wild to me.
Three times a week?
Yeah, she plays even more.
What? How?
That's like her thing. She loves it. It's crazy.
I mean,
It's
that's
so
awesome,
much.
but like,
Yeah.
I was thinking maybe we could try to do like once a month.
That's what I was gonna say. I was gonna say like once a month,
Okay,
once
go.
every 2 months would be, at times.
Yeah.
Like even just doing like one shot campaigns, or like every so often we did like this is the next 2 months. It's like these 2 sessions we're gonna do. I think
Or like
that would be cool.
and we could keep our characters. Like our characters just do one shots, and then we could just keep growing. Because I think technically we would have leveled up at this point. So like,
Yeah.
we could keep growing, but like do one shots and not.
Yeah, I think that
No.
would be fun. I definitely had, not that I didn't think I would have fun with it, but I had even more fun with it, I think, than I expected. And I was more interested by the gameplay than I thought I would have been. Because I knew I would be interested by the role playing to some level, but I think the gameplay was pretty fun. I still feel like it was hard to get into the full, like, being in a character.
Yeah.
But I think that would maybe come with time once I felt more comfortable with the systems as well. Because if I knew the system, then I could be like, well, I know I can do this, so I can talk shit before I, fail on a roll for something, right? Like I don't know. I feel like it would just help me get into it a little bit more if I understood my characters a little bit more as far as their abilities. But
Oh yeah, I think that would play a huge part in knowing your abilities more. Because like even as we were in the cave walking around and almost, I think we got to the boss room, I was discovering that I was like, oh snap, I have other
yeah,
spells
me
here,
too.
guys.
I had stuff where I was like,
could
oh,
do
I didn't know I
more.
could cast this whenever if I could, or like I should have asked because if I did, we wouldn't have had to worry about a light source. I could have just made somebody shiny.
Oh no, and then like that, and like I had this thing where I could either make it hard for the enemy to move, and it could also damage him if he moves, or like I could have made like vines come out of the ground and hold them into place. And I was like, where'd that come from? It's because I didn't turn the page
Yeah.
and see that I could do more. But you know, it just, I think learning more of what your character can do and what you're able to do will greatly increase our fun, because then we just be silly with each other and like,
Yeah, then we just play.
yes.
Then we just play the game. I think too, because like usually I
Yeah.
enjoy playing games when I understand all the systems and I know how it works. And I think just knowing a little bit more now about like, oh, like I don't need to worry about using all my spell slots because that's what they're there for. I should be spending them. Or like, oh, I need to go into the features to check this out because if I use these features, it might help me reuse a spell slot or use it to a better effect. So yeah, I don't know. I would probably do that more in the future, and I'm hoping we get to do it sooner than later. I know with James, he has to, if assuming James DMs again for us, I think.
He would. I believe me, I bet he would. If I leave this episode and go tell him that we want to play again and that he needs to come up with an idea, he'd be like, okay.
Yes, I think
Like-
I think we would all be down because I know for sure Nick said really good things because we just carpooled when we went over there because he's like even further out than than I am somehow. So he just came to my place and we drove together and he was like, that was really fun. And I was like talking with James and he said he did that whole thing and like he was pretty impressed. So I think it'd be really fun to do it again for sure.
Oh yeah, I've already told him that I was like, I'm pretty sure we all want to do it again, and I'm sure if we give him time or an idea or if something inspires him, he'll be like, okay.
For sure. And I think like doing it in person was fun too. I think if we had done it online, that would have been a good time, but I think it was really fun in person and just having like
I like the in person. I mean, it's also, you know, something that's really nice to just bounce each other off of each other in person.
and if we're only doing it, I imagine if we did it weekly, it would be very different. But like if we're only doing it once every month or so, like we definitely can schedule some time for that.
I mean, Matt, we barely do this weekly. I don't think we can schedule a D&D campaign weekly.
Yeah, that's a good point, and that's just the two of us, and it takes
Yeah, I
considerably
know.
less time.
Imagine getting Brian online.
I know. I think yeah, that would be impossible. Let's just call it what
would.
it is. It's not going to happen.
Yeah,
So
it's not gonna happen.
we'll definitely need to do it again. Any final thoughts, I guess, on our first one shot?
Our first foray into the D&D world. No, I guess my big takeaway was it was a lot more fun than even I thought, and I thought it would be fun.
Yeah.
I can see why, like, my stepbrother was so excited when I told him I was playing D&D. That's like his thing. He plays probably 2 or 3 times a week as well, and he plays online with people from like New Zealand. So
That's
like
cool.
their time zones involved and everything, and that's his thing. He loves it, but he was so excited. He called me the next day to be like, "How'd you like it? What'd you think?" He wanted a whole thing, and I was like, "Dude, you're way too excited about this."
Like it's good. I
But
had
it was fun. It was fun. I would love to do it again. I think we as a group could have a lot more fun, especially if we could be a little more consistent, being once a month, maybe twice a month if we're crazy.
Yeah.
And I'm sure schedules will change. Like obviously your busy season
Times a year,
versus your
yeah.
not so busy season, and you know whether Brian's super busy with his kids or what have you. Life is busy.
Yeah.
I'm down, man. I'd be down to play again. It was so much fun, and I know for a fact James would be down.
That's awesome. Yeah, we'll definitely have to do it again. So yeah, well thanks for chatting with me a little bit about it. And listeners, hopefully you were interested in learning more about our first experience with it. I know we've talked about D&D before, but likely we might do it again, assuming this is something that happens down the road. So maybe hear more about it soon. Yeah.
Maybe we'll be able to talk more about our characters. Be like, oh man, Mark, And Mark.
Yes. Yeah, we had 2 marks in our campaign, or our one shot, which was somehow not deliberate, which was funny. But yeah, no, we had a lot of fun with it. I definitely am looking forward to doing it again. So yeah, we might hear more about it down the road here, but hopefully hear more from us about other topics as well, and hopefully we can get to a better recording structure and not once every 3 to 5 months as it seems like it has been.
Look, I know we've been busy and I do miss potting with you because it's just fun to chat, but let's I shouldn't.
Let's not make promises on when our next episode will be, but we'll just say that we will be trying to do another recording soon. Hopefully,
yes.
We'll tentatively throw that out there that that we're gonna try and do a little bit more of a regular scheduled show.
We miss potting. We want to do it more. Who knows when we'll do another episode?
No commitments.
But we want to do more.
Nice. You really, really kind of gave us a gray area to do whatever we want. But yeah,
I really did.
Sounds good. Well, we'll see when the next time we record is. But thank you so much for joining me, Miranda. And thank you, listeners, for listening. We'll see you all next time.
Bye.
Bye.